Okay, so Pooja, take us back, what must be 2.5 years now. What were the series of trigger moments that led to you kickstarting your fitness journey with us at R&T?
I was starting and stopping a lot of programs, and I think I was just done with the endless starting and stopping of programs, and I just felt really inconsistent. I kept finding the right plan for me. I wasn't getting the results that I wanted,
Mm.
so I was experimenting and researching on my own, and these programs just felt very temporary to me. And then I was following R&T in 2019, and it caught my attention with my attention with the content you guys have. So I felt like there were a lot of hidden truths behind this whole sustainable lifestyle that I never knew about. So that really got me engaged. And then my friend transformed with R&T in 2022, and that was pretty inspiring to me. And I thought I will join. No, in 2020 is when he transformed. I thought I'll join that time, but COVID hit, and I think maybe I just wasn't mentally ready for it. So in 2022, I was done. I thought I'll figure it out on my own in 2020, and tried again on my by myself. Nothing worked, and I'm like, I'm done. And I was turning 35, and I'm like, I've been on this journey for 10 years, so I need to figure it out now. I need a coach. I need someone to guide me. And I was tired of I was tired of figuring it out on my own. So 2022 is when I joined R&T, and yeah, and I was done
What?
with the whole
Who's your friend?
Savan.
Okay, yeah. I know. I remember him. He had a really good transformation. What about
Yeah.
um, what made you get inspired in 2020 but not take action in 2020? What was your gap? You waited 2 years. Why did you wait 2 years before you decided to dive in?
Thinking about it right now,
Yeah.
I think it was my mind that wasn't ready for it, my mindset. Being committed to a program like R&T, you need consistency, you need discipline. It's like your life is going to change overnight, kind of a thing. So I think I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, and in hindsight, what do you think you weren't ready for?
The commitment.
And with that commitment, what parts of the commitment do you think I just wasn't ready for that? Or
I think for me, it was the nutrition that I wasn't committed for it to change. I know because of seeing so much content of R&T, I knew I will have to change my nutrition. So I think I wasn't ready for it and to go all in. And I think someone was just saying that you can do it on your own. You can do it on your own. You can do it on your own. And obviously, I didn't do it on my own.
I find that delay period really interesting because you're not the first person to say that. You know, you come across something like this and you're stalling for like year, 2 years, 3 years before you take the plunge, but you know you need to do something. What is it that holds you back from the commitment around nutrition? Because nutrition is like the biggest thing you have to potentially overhaul. But what about that overhaul feels scary now that you've kind of come on, you've
So
been with us for 2.5 years?
yeah, so I think the whole protein, I was scared of. I thought protein would bulk you up, so I was scared to bulk up,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that was the main thing.
So you delayed like the idea of diving into nutrition because of the.
Yeah, and also there's meal prepping as
Okay, fine.
well,
Yeah,
which I was like, I don't think I'm ready for this boring lifestyle.
yeah.
So I need variety in my life. That was
Mm.
a part of it. So it was all of it together.
Interesting. So that perception of it's going to be a boring life kind of made you put it off until you couldn't take it anymore, sort of thing. And what
Yeah.
then changed then? What made you think, right, I'm ready to now? In your head, you still probably thought it was still boring, but like, what was the changing moment of like,
Uh
right, you know what? Now I'm going to do
so
something about it.
so during between 2020 and 2022, when I said I'm going to try and figure it out on my own, I did a lot of research and my own experimentation. And I saw this thing about measuring food. So I started doing that, obviously not the correct way in my own understanding. And I put myself, I'm like, okay, I'm going to be on 1,200 calories. So I joined Fitness Pal and I was doing my own logging in, which was
Yeah.
obviously not the correct way. And then I just still wasn't looking toned enough by doing X amount of workouts, reducing my food. I still couldn't see a difference.
Mm.
So it's just that whole yo-yo. And I'm like, what am I doing that is so wrong?
Yeah.
So then I decided that this is it.
And when you started, what was one of the first few changes that made you think, I wasn't doing this, or was any big things like that, or was it something
I
quite like,
wasn't doing a lot of it.
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I never had protein shake
Okay.
in my life. Never heard of creatine. My strength workouts, never used to do strength workouts. It was all about cardio. Um, Nutrition completely changed. I never even tried tempeh. Tofu wasn't a priority. It was only when I went out I would have tofu. So my breakfast, everything changed. My whole life changed. Like I think I'm a different person.
Amazing. Well, we'll come on to that shortly. If we just stay pre-RNT, what were some of the things that you did for 10 years that you were trying to solve your problems around fitness? You said it'd been a 10-year problem.
So when I went into university is when I put on weight, a lot of weight. And the first year of uni, when I came back to Kenya, we went, everyone's like, oh, you've put on a bit of weight, you're healthy, in the Indian healthy fat, fat is healthy. So I didn't think of it much, but then we went on holiday. We went with my family friends, and we were all on the dinner table, and and my uncle, he's like, you've put on quite a bit of weight. You look really healthy. And I think him saying it in front of everyone, it just put me in this realization like there's something wrong here and I need to change. So I think that was a big trigger moment for me to start this journey.
Mm.
And yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So you started the journey and you realized you were doing a lot of things wrong. Describe some of the early periods of the journey, like cleaning the palate. How did you navigate the change in nutrition, lifestyle, and make it fit with everything else you were doing socially, with work, with family commitments, etc.?
During RNT?
Yeah, the starting period. Yeah.
It was pretty crazy when I started in 2022. Because because of COVID, there were still some rules and regulations in Kenya. So my grandparents had moved in with us, and my in-laws went on holiday. So I was still responsible. You do get a lot of help here, but you're still responsible for them. So I was still responsible for their meals, and here I was starting this whole new program, starting to measure, starting to prep. And at that time, I just questioned myself, like, what am I doing? Is this really what I want to do? At that time, I wanted to quit RNT,
Oh, wow.
but luckily, because I joined with my husband, and I think both of us doing it together, he's like, no, we can do it. Like, this is just the start. Change is always going to be difficult in the beginning, so let's do it. Let's do it. And I mean, after a month, it's like it was pretty much changing, and I loved it.
That's so interesting. Like the first month is it's like the most difficult period, and it's make or break, right? It's if you can get it, you're off to the races. If you don't, you literally will give up. Done.
And I think because of also my grandparents being there, I think there's so much stress on me and doing this new program because I'm also doing it for my husband. I think I was at one point just at a break point, like my whole life has just changed. Like I was tired, we had to get all these steps in. So trying to figure out all that, trying to figure out your structure. It was just like a whole jumble at that particular point.
Yeah. And if you were to give some advice to yourself now, what would it be with regards to overcoming that chaos period? And I ask because there's so many people that might be listening thinking, yeah, it's just too difficult to even get started. Like, how am I going to get through to the other side where Pooja is? Like, what sort of advice would you give yourself back then?
Okay, it did help having a coach, definitely.
Yeah.
I think trust the process. I know it's cliche, but
yeah.
When
you're in the process and you're thinking of quitting, what would you say to you then?
Go for it. Just do it. Like just don't think about it and just go all in.
Okay. You said having your husband as part of the journey was a really critical period, part of that. How did that conversation unravel? Was it something you two decided to do together? Was one of you persuading the other?
No,
How
I
did that
just
come
told
about?
him, sorry about that. I just told him I'm joining R&T.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Do you want to do it with me? And he's like, yeah, I'll do it with you. And it was
That,
easy to get him
that
in
was
on.
that. Okay, so there's no like
he
persuasion involved.
No, because I was following R&T, I think it was back of my mind since 2020 that I am going to join this program at some point. I know I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And what
And
did
I
it?
was talking to him about it over the years, like, oh, look at this post and look at this post. And I was showing him and kind of, telling him all these things. And yeah, I think because he got convinced of, and he saw that, yes, there is truth behind this. I don't think he even like wavered. He just immediately said yes.
Fine. You subtly selling him along the way. So when it came to it, he was already bought
Yeah,
in.
I planted the seed.
Yeah, yeah, fine. And then in terms of like the wider family, how did you describe what you're doing? Because again, once you've got the immediates involved, that's a massive part of it. But again, the grandparents, the parents, the cousins, the friends, they all have their opinions if they don't know what you're doing, which is a case in many cases. So how did you navigate that? Because I suspect that was a part of some of the challenges.
Massive. It was. We spoke to them. We told them we're going to be doing this journey, and obviously we used to have our meals together.
Yeah.
So our meals started getting different, and we told them what it's about, and they was really supportive from day one. Supportive with us, obviously not like they're going to remove all the food that we're not going to be able to eat out of the house. They're not going to do that. Just they were really supportive. Both sides of the family were really supportive. Um, when we had like social meals, when we still have them till date, like they would they would ask us what we want, and everyone has it now. That meal that healthy meal that we all have it together. Um, it's encouraged like now it's encouraged like steps with everyone every day after lunch. I go with my mom and my sister. We go for a walk, get our steps in. It's brought in a lot of fitness and health bits into their life. I wouldn't
Mm.
say there's change, but yeah. So the main thing is they were very supportive of it all. Obviously, cousins and aunts and uncles are going to question you, have their opinion. They still do. And when you tell them that, oh, when they see you measuring your food, obviously questions are going to arise, and it's just I think it's still a battle till today. But I think I've just shut it out.
What do you say?
It's just what I do.
And what do
I
they say?
mean, oh, and then they get interested, like, oh, how much protein do you have, and how much carbs do you have,
Yeah, fine.
and yeah, and you're like, I'll tell you everything. You're not going to do it, but it's just that repetition conversation that we have.
I have a lot of family in East Africa and Kenya and Nairobi as well, and yeah, they talk about the social life being very very big over there. Like in many metropolitan cities, but I think in East Africa it's different because the walking is not really a thing, right? It's everything's
No,
crowding. You don't really go. You don't
yeah,
go for walks around the neighborhood, do you? Um,
no.
the walking's not a thing. Gym culture is not massive, but if it is, it's just cardio classes. Otherwise, everything's centered around food. How have you found? Do you still think that's the culture? How have you managed to navigate that, whilst bringing people close to you on board with that journey, or have you managed to
Um,
adapt the way?
I I do feel the culture is shifting a little bit now.
Yeah,
Um, I think just because of what's out there and people are getting healthy. The good thing about for me was I live in an estate, so getting my steps and was pretty easy for me. Nowadays, when I go for socials, it would be checking the menu first, or um, wherever I'm going. If I'm going to someone's house, I would ask what's on the menu.
yeah,
So I think over time that's what I do, and I still do that.
yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear that. Things are starting shifting in the right direction.
But like when you go to restaurants, it's horrible.
In what
Like it's
sense?
a lot of fried food and
Yeah.
um unhealthy food. Like it's not really to your plan. So I don't really go out that much anymore for
Fair.
meals.
Okay. As you kind of got into the journey, you said like after the first 30 days, things started feeling a bit more automatic. What were some of the challenges you faced going through the process phase little bit deeper into it, like that you had to overcome, or any life events that may have caused you to change your structure, strategy, and systems with the R&T journey?
Obviously, the dinners, as I mentioned, was something that I had to change. And this time being on checkpoint, um, I felt like I was alone. So I was in my own environment, it was really tough because during this time there were a lot of socials, and the good thing was I was able to stick and control myself. And whilst everyone's having these foods around me, um, I had this goal that my photo shoot is in focus, so I could have that mindset, like just go for it. And because it was not only the photo shoot for me, it was also the whole photography side. So that was another challenge, like how to go about the whole photo shoot, and there were a lot of mixed feelings there happening. And I think it's the biggest obstacle, yeah, otherwise was mainly food. And how when people are eating and temptations around you, and how to overcome those temptations, that was one
Yeah.
of the biggest challenges.
What was your big why that's kept you going through this period? Like maybe at the start, what was it, and then how's it evolved over the years?
So it started with obviously looking good and feeling good,
Hmm.
because I think looking good and feeling good is a strong motivator for me. And I think that's why I stayed committed. It gives me better energy. I know my focus everywhere is better, in my work, in my personal life, in my spiritual journey. And even though looking good is there, there was a lot of um, internal changes happening. Of like um, my mood was better. I could handle stress better. I was more consistent with things. I had better discipline. And now it's evolved by inspiring other people around me, just showing my journey and being dedicated to myself, and showing that, yes, health and fitness is a priority. And it's never too late. It's for young and old generation, everyone. And obviously, showing it now through my photography, it's not only just showing good pictures, it's showing the strength, the transformation, the dedication that all these women have gone through, and just inspiring everyone around me. So have it both, the photography and the fitness have both combined it, and it's created a passion. So that's my new why now.
What does strength look like or feel like to you?
I think I just feel powerful and stronger. My confidence has really grown. Um, and just tackling so many things. And it's been amazing ever since starting R&T, how many things have just come to me. Um, I think it's just obviously that energy, being around that and creating that good energy around you, and
Mm.
just having that confidence and saying yes for everything.
Yeah, what do you mean by that? Like things have just come up your way. Like what's some examples that you can maybe share?
So one is with my career, things have been going great. Um, and getting into this, you giving me the opportunity for giving the photography a chance, that has changed completely now. There's a whole new genre, it's evolving really well. And also with like my spiritual journey, I was given being the head photographer for East Africa when the guru comes. So that has been inspirational. Being walking around the guru, you have to have so much energy around that. So it's been pretty amazing.
Amazing.
And obviously inspiring people around me with fitness.
Yeah, for sure. Share your journey with photography. So, maybe a background like what you're doing, what your main genre is, and how fitness photography is sort of becoming an early emerging category for you.
So my niche is newborn, maternity, and children photography. And I work with a lot of women. And obviously when during the maternity stages, I like women feeling beautiful, making them feel their best, and having fitness that I'm so passionate about, and getting the opportunity to take these photos, to have a whole fitness genre has really worked well, because it's again working with lots of women and finding their strengths where needed, and just showing like how you can transform, and how it can work hand in hand with each other.
Amazing, amazing. What was your own photo shoot experience like? Being on the other side of the camera, that you conducted it yourself as well, right?
Yeah. So I had to do 2 sessions. My
Yeah.
first session was really bad. It's never happened to me. So it was the first time that this happened to anyone, and I'm glad it was me and not another client.
What did he do?
Uh,
What went wrong?
so basically, I went to the session, and my my lights and my trigger weren't syncing
Oh God.
together, so there's just no flash happening. And obviously, that time my husband and my sister came to help me, because I can't take the photos myself, so they came to help me. And during that time, I told him, like, I'm sure you'll figure it out. Like, it's just, I'm sure, a small malfunction. He's like, no, this is not working. Anyway, because I didn't know if I'll get another chance, I put my on camera flash and I took photos, came to the studio, had a look at them. They were rubbish. I'm like, this is just not my work. Nimit, being so good in DIY, figured out what was wrong. He opened everything up, and he saw like, oh, the wire is being cut. So he managed to fix it that day. The whole day he managed to do something. And I rescheduled my shoot on Sunday once everything was clear. And I did my shoot on Sunday. It was kind of good because I'd kind of done it on Friday. So it was like the Friday was like a practice round for me.
Mm.
And on Sunday I did it. And as challenging it was just so satisfying. And I felt so powerful, so accomplished. And I just don't know how to explain it. It's just amazing till date. I feel so good. I've never taken pictures of myself. I'm not really confident from the camera.
Okay.
And being half naked in front of a camera, taking my own pictures and figuring out the lighting and the shot, it was too much, but it was worth it.
Yeah. I mean, that's like your creative outlet kicking in, and then
Yeah.
you also got this fitness journey, and you're trying to combine both in one day. I mean, doing a photo shoot is already hard. You're trying to do it and coordinate it.
It was a lot. It took a bit longer than I would have expected, but I mean, I'm so happy with the outcome
Yeah, amazing. How's the physical being the vehicle for you?
in so many ways. Where do I start? So, I mean, I think ever since I've joined R&T, I have inspired people to some extent. And obviously, first, my husband. He never used to work out, never used to do anything. So that has been a good accountability to have, even though I'm more accountable. He's more accountable to me, but yeah. So there's this kind of sense of teamwork that's created. And now that we have steps, we do all these workouts together, nutrition, and it's created a really nice environment for us. And when we do our steps, it's our time to catch up in the evenings, have our alone time. So making him join R&T has been a good driving force. And then obviously inspiring my families with walks, a bit of healthy meals here and there. Trying to put that in there is another aspect of it. And meal prepping, something that I thought was totally boring. I love it. It's when I don't, like last week when I went for my holiday, I didn't have it for a week. I was missing something in my life. And me and Nivet are both like, oh my God, yes, we're having our smoothie tomorrow. Like, I didn't know I was going to be excited for stuff like that. So food has been a game changer for me. And it's been just great to embrace the whole meal prepping and learning how to do it, and knowing I'm getting my full nutrition in. And I think the physical changes that I've experienced in my life have impacted other ways as well, because my confidence has grown. And it's been incredible how the transformation has a ripple effect on everything else. So it's not only physical strength, but it's also like mental resilience as well. And just having confidence in other parts of my life and creating opportunities. And yeah, and now my whole career and spiritual journey and everything is just accelerated.
Tell me how it's accelerated your spiritual journey. You mentioned it a few times.
Yeah, just so being the head photographer for Kenya and just getting the opportunity to be near a guru and having that energy, learning from him, it's incredible.
Mm.
And all and being and they use me for like a lot of stuff, like having energy to run about here, do this, and being constant with the guru, like from 8 to 8 p.m. on the move. So I think giving you that energy and strength to do that.
Has it allowed you to tap into your own journey more so as well?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, in what sense?
Um, just being aware of everything around you and a lot of attachments and relative things, like how we attach to everything relative around us, and just looking within, like yourself, you know, and it's a bit selfish, but just looking at yourself and obviously finishing your karmas in this life and just progressing.
What do you mean by attachments relative to what's around you?
Like, like everything we do, we're attached to.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
let's say, for example, my iMac crashed or it broke. How it would affect me. Even like, for example, like let's just say food, the attachment of food, like it's that
Yes, big one.
taste, and now it's just, being aware. It's that attachment that of the taste is what we have. It's that memory. And now looking at it in the fitness point as well is looking at it like you only eat to survive. You have to have the right nutrition. You're not eating for taste. You're just eating to live better, to have a better life. So it's helped in a lot of ways in just understanding myself better.
Yeah.
And obviously, if I'm fit now and I look after myself now, I can progress on my spiritual journey later on in life. And I don't have to look after myself, but I can progress on this.
Well, when people
So,
ask me
yeah,
like, "What's physical is the vehicle?" What does it mean? There's so many layers to it, but the deepest layer is exactly what you're describing. It's like ultimately you have to look after the vehicle that contains, the awareness within, in order to
yeah,
progress, that internal journey that we're all going on. And
yeah, because if I had like health issues or anything like that, my mind is going to be on that. And that's what I'm going to
exactly,
be focusing on.
yeah.
Whereas if I know I'm healthy and I'm getting the right nutrition, I can focus on other things.
Yeah, and also like the concept of attachments when it comes to nutrition, emotions, various crutches, vices, responses, like all of this transformation journey, and I think it comes even more to light in the investment phase, is ultimately dealing with those attachments and either
Exactly.
removing them, changing them, or at least bringing awareness around them, because we
Yeah.
go through life and we don't actually analyze what's happening with regards to, oh, when I feel like this is what I do. When I feel like that, this is what I do. Oh, I reach for the biscuits and I didn't even realize I do it. And when we bring awareness to it, we can start working on these behaviors, which improve our physical being, but more than anything, actually improve our mental, emotional, and a spiritual experience as well.
Definitely, because it's helped me in journaling a lot.
Yeah.
And you'd even just thinking, okay, I start my day. I'm like, oh, how did my workout go? Did
Mm.
I progress? It just starts by that, by questioning everything that I do. How did my meals go today? And and also how do you act with other people? Did you have any conflicts with anyone? Or it's just you're
Mm.
constantly in awareness. Did you eat the right food? And um, do you have the right energy? And yeah, it's just questioning yourself constantly.
How do you approach your journaling? Yeah, what sort of cadence? How do you do it? What sort of prompts do you use?
Yeah, so I would have the questions of how I told you, like how did my day go?
Okay, so the
Like,
ones you just
yeah,
described, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And did I did I achieve what I wanted to in my day? Did I, now fitness is a part of it. So did I adhere to everything? Did I adhere to my spiritual practices, my fitness practices? Did I adhere to all of that? Um, and then it's obviously Did I hurt anyone through my mind, through my speech,
Mm.
through physical, in any which way, even through like sometimes when you just say something, you might think you've not hurt the other person, but maybe you can feel the energy that, yeah, you have actually hurt them. So it's just reflecting on that and trying to get away from those attachments, like not get attached to it.
Mm. Amazing. And what have been some of the most surprising discoveries about yourself in the last sort of year when it comes to this journey as it sort of interlinks with the physical journey?
My strength, definitely.
And do you mean by that, do you mean emotional, mentally, or do you mean everything?
Yeah, and physically,
Yeah, yeah.
definitely. So what I do feel I've in the past 2 years that how I've grown is I could never do push-ups before.
Mm.
Now I can do like 40 push-ups in one. So I just feel so powerful. I just feel I'm a different person. Like I don't do so many things that I used to do 2 years ago.
So talk about that identity change because that's ultimately the crux of this is becoming a new person. Like, yeah, you change your body, but the way you keep that new body is by becoming a new person. At what point in the journey do you feel like that happened? Like, obviously, it's not a day you just wake up, you're like, oh, someone different today. Like, it's a dimmer switch.
No.
Like, it happens over time. When is that? When did that happen for you? Where you
Mm,
just thought, oh, you know what? I don't do that thing anymore.
maybe like 3, 4 months in the journey of
Okay.
RNT and how everything changed. I just noticed that I don't eat out that much. I quit drinking a while ago, so that wasn't ever a part of me. Also, socializing, doing only important social, which are going to be meaningful to me, not just faffing, and having priorities like getting your steps in. And there were just different priorities, different like it would be let's if someone says let's go for a meal or let's go play tennis, I'll choose tennis, you know. So I think the different choices I started making made me realize like I have changed as a person.
Mm.
And obviously your interests change, like what you listen to and what you want to read, and um, the people you hang out with start, I think, changing as well.
Yeah. What's your goals for the investment phase then?
To have a lean muscle build.
Yeah.
So that's the journey I'm on. And right now I'm trying to get to do at least 10 pull-ups. So um, I'm still starting out.
Yeah.
But Chloe's given me a whole pull-up plan. So I'm working towards that. And just maintaining my physique. Because I do feel the best right now.
Yeah.
So
So you're looking at like sort of maintaining your look and building strength.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. If you were to give advice to people early in the journey, what would your main one be outside of trust the process?
I think go all in would be
What does that mean
um,
to you? Going all in?
just do what the
I know
coach
I
is
say
telling you to do.
I know I say all the time. But I'm curious to know
Yeah,
what
for
you.
me,
Yeah,
for me, it feels like whatever the coach is saying, just do it. Don't question it. Like, okay, you obviously question it because you want to figure out why you're doing certain things.
yeah,
But at the end, just I think we just work with the coaches, and the guidance they're giving you is, I think, phenomenal. And it works. It definitely works. And it's not only for the physical, it's a lot of mental shift that happens while you're doing this process. So there's so many changes, and I think everyone should go have a try at this program. Like it is life changing.
amazing. And when you said earlier you thought the food would be boring, but then you discovered that you actually really enjoy it. What was the change, and what was your how does your perception of what you thought it would be differ from the reality of what actually ends up happening?
And now being on the investment phase,
Yeah.
obviously, it's not such a rigid plan. Like it's how it's part of your lifestyle, and how I've learned to cook in the same with the same ingredients, so many different dishes. So I've really experimented a lot of stuff on my own. And even in our Indian food, like where a lot of our foods are so carb heavy, how to bring protein into it, and just experimenting so much with the food. So it's bringing in all the food that I like, and having this whole meal plan, like there's just no decision fatigue. Like I just know, okay, this is what I'm going to eat. You go eat your food and that's it. It's not like, oh, what am I going to make today? And then you start prepping and it's just a whole thing. This is some quick thing over at, you're getting your nutrition, you've got your macros, you feel good.
Amazing. Amazing. Any final words for the listeners?
Do this program. It is life changing. It's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for sharing your journey, Pooja. It's been amazing to see you grow, get stronger, transform through this journey, and I'm looking forward to seeing where you take it next.
Thank you so much, Akash, for having me.